What's happening, people? So, I want to talk about, and this is a series that's going to go on, about fights that I wanted to see that didn't happen. Back in this case, is going to be the 1990s, first of all. We're looking at the super middleweight division, and we're going to look at fights that I wanted to see that didn't happen, that I wish would have happened. Even though maybe they may not have been possible, or maybe they could have been possible, but I just wanted to see them happen. So in the super middleweight division, back in the 1990s, somewhere in the middle of the 1990s, the division was ruled by Michael Nunn around 1992, as you can see, and then a little later on, in the middle of the decade, James Toney took over. All right, and then after that, in 1994, Roy Jones Jr. basically dominated until he moved out of the division. All right, so what I want to talk about is some possible fights that I wanted to see that never happened. So one of them was James Toney facing the guys across the pond, Chris Eubank, Nigel Benz. You know, he never faced those dudes, and I thought that was very interesting. In fact, he never even faced Frankie Lyles, who would later become the WBA super middleweight champion. And so I would have loved to see those fights happen, as well as, Roy Jones Jr. facing Nigel Benn or Chris Eubank Jr. Chris Eubank, sorry, or Frankie Lyles. He never even faced Frankie Lyles. He did face Vinny Pazienza. In fact, he only faced two major names at super middleweight, to be honest with you. It was James Toney, who he beat, and then Vinny Pazienza. But he really didn't fight nobody else. And so names like Steve Collins, that came up in the division. Steve Collins, Nigel Benn, Chris Eubank, all of these guys across the pond. Those fights never happened. And I remember a lot of people talking about that they wanted to see those fights happen. But they never actually happened. And those were some of the fights that I really would have liked to see. And I know he could have made the fight with Frankie Lyles, but it just never came to pass. And I also wanted to see Roy Jones Jr. against Michael Nunn. I saw James Toney against Michael Nunn, but I always wanted to see Roy Jones Jr. against Michael Nunn because Michael Nunn was a southpaw like Frankie Lyles. So those are some of the fights that I wanted to see. Let's hear what you guys thought. What fights you wanted to see at super middleweight in the 1990s? What was your thing? What made you want to see those fights? And those are some of the fights, though, I wanted to see. Yeah. Put it in your comment section below. Don't forget you can subscribe to my channel, and you can also donate to my channel if you like this video. To donate, you can donate via MoneyGram or Western Union. I'm working on the online payments. Don't worry, we'll get there. Online donations. Until then, you guys have a great one.